Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. Yeah. And welcome to a Saturday stream. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, whatever day it is. I hope that the weekend is treating you well. And thanks for coming to join me on a Saturday stream where the resistance activity action will continue yet again today in some Vanilla XCOM 2. We're getting real close to the end of the campaign, chat, and I don't know if we're gonna finish it up today, but it's definitely on the cards. But good to see you guys. Glad to have you. Glad that you guys could come out and hang out with me again today. And yeah, it is another weekend. It is another Saturday or Sunday if you're in the land down under. So yeah, we Chet, it's been a hell of a week, and I'm not gonna get into the whole thing about that. Like, if you guys are on the Discord, then you already know. But it has been a little bit of a rough week, and I gotta say, I am glad to be here. I'm glad to be streaming. I'm glad to have something to look forward to for a change this week. So glad to see all you guys coming out. And to answer your question, BLM, about the intro music, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. And Mega's kind of hinted at it. Is that's my nerd crit. That's my degenerate crit. That is, like, when I say I'm a degenerate, when I say I'm a nerd, that's the proof. The proof is in the pudding. So you don't, like, I've told you guys before, don't tell anybody. I don't want anybody to spoil it. Like, I want you to have to go and figure it out. And then when you do figure it out and you realize where that intro music is from, then you're going to have that moment of like, oh shit. Turns out I'm not just out here bullshitting y'all. I know what I'm about. I know what I'm about. Anyway. But good to see you guys. Glad to have you once again. Man, as usual, we got a bunch of folks in chat already. I know, fucking Troubleshooter and Black Hydra out here, and Yas now hanging out very early in the stream. We had Erst showing up before I even went live. Whole bunch of you other donkeys, but good to see you. Saw Sierra out there, said he was gonna have to drop in and drop right back out. But as always, good to see Sierra dropping by. Got Driftnear, Megas, Vio. Good to see all you guys again. Sorry if I didn't get to you, but there's a lot of names. There's a lot of names in the chat. There's a lot of names, and I don't always get to them all, so I apologize. And CVEX as well. Sneaking into the chat. Good to see you, CVEX. Glad to have you, says the hype has called me. Well, I'm glad that it has. Glad to see you once again. And there we go. The hype train has finally concluded, you fucking degenerate doggies. But we'll get to that here in just a minute. So, of course, I did want to talk about, again, I'm not going to talk about the big thing. But let's just say, things are a little rough right now, but aside from that, it's been an interesting week. I've kind of been going down a lore rabbit hole on 40k again. Cause so listen, chat, I'm a huge 40k fan. I have been in 40k for a long time. I played the game for many, many years. I still collect the minis and paint them and build them and stuff like that. Although less of that now, since Games Workshop has kind of decided that the best business strategy is to charge silver and gold rates for fucking plastic. But I didn't realize since, the last, I don't know, 2018, 2019 or so, like the last 5 years or so, I didn't realize how much I guess the lore and the storyline of 40k had progressed. I hadn't really been paying attention to it. And so yeah, it was interesting to get caught up on like, the Indominus Crusade, the Psychic Awakening, the Arcs of Omen, all the other narrative stuff that's been going on. I can't necessarily say that I agree with all those decisions, but it has been interesting getting caught up on all that and kind of, figuring out where the where the setting is at now versus, where it was back when I was heavier into the setting. I mean, I've said before, I started collecting and playing the game back in the mid 2000s, and so that was right around like third and fourth edition. And so the setting has changed a whole lot in that time. There's been a lot of retcons, there's been a lot of do-overs. I mean, the Necrons alone have basically changed their entire backstories 2 times since that very first third edition codex came out. So like it's been an interesting ride. It's been a wild ride to kind of again get caught up with the factions, get caught up with the setting and all that kind of stuff. And then of course, oh man, what was shit chat? There was other thing. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about, and now I completely. Oh, chat, the anime, the fucking anime this season. Listen. I I tell you what. Hold on, chat. Hold on, because I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. So let me first, before I get on my anime rant, because fucking I got some stuff to say. I'm gonna let's get the thankies out of the way first, because again, as always, you fucking degenerate donkeys and your hype trains and your sub fights and your Bezos bucks out here, most of it before you've even seen my face. I gotta thank you for it all, because even though I don't deserve it,
Yeah?
I still gotta say thank you for it. So with the god damn it, Ven. At any rate, chat, I promised you a rant. I don't know if it's a rant, but I gotta get some stuff off of my ample chest about anime. So, and again, some of you will already be familiar with some of what I'm gonna say, if you're on the Discord and if you pay any attention to the Discord. But I did want to say it as well, just for the folks that maybe aren't on the Discord or don't have time to live there like some of you do. So I've already complained at length about this season of anime, the winter 2025 season. Oh my god, Travis as well. Man, everybody's getting hit by the bot today. Okay, well see, this is good though, because Travis is out here doing the science, right? Like he is trying every variation of the word cunt to see which ones the bot will let through and which ones it won't. But he said, "G'day, cunts. I'm here for an anime rant. Good to see you, Travis. Glad to have you." Once again, proving my point. You can say cunts, but apparently if you put an apostrophe in there, the bot doesn't like it. I don't understand. Look, the bot drinks. Chat, I don't know what to tell you. I've said before, I've already put the word into the bot so that it won't ban it, but it still does anyway. That feels like a global setting. Anyway, anime. Chat, anime. So I have complained at length about the winter 2025 anime season, because it's kind of shit, you guys. Like, it's kind of shit. Like, and I did a whole breakdown on the Discord. Like, I even went through and counted all the different shows and what was coming up and everything else. And it's just like, it's all sequels and isekai and generic fantasy bullshit. And of course, the normal allotment of like 30% of the season is just random rom-com trash. And I just like, there was nothing this season that I saw and I was like, oh boy, that'll be fun to watch. And again, I know some of you are going to say Solo Leveling. I want you to know, Solo Leveling is not for me. Because it's isekai, and it's isekai shonen power fantasy wank, and I'm just, it's couldn't be me, chat. Couldn't be me. I could not give less fucks about Solo Leveling. I really could not. And so, with that being said, with that being basically the only show this season that anybody seems to care about, it's been really weird trying to find anything to watch this season. And I picked up several shows that, like, at least the premise seemed interesting. There was obviously Tenshu, which is the other big show this season, about a manga artist that ends up isekai'd. Oh, has it been a minute? Good looking out, Wasteland. Good looking out. Let me try permitting the length again for BLM. This is a long way to go for a joke, though. So, like this, at this point, this image has been hyped up so much. BLM, this better be the greatest image of all time, or you are going to get lambasted. All right, what do we got? Yeah, no, it is shit. It is shit. But to be fair, in the absence of Sierra, um, I guess somebody has to carry the torch of shitty MS Paint memes. So, you know, I I don't know what to say. Thanks? Question mark? I don't, yeah. Anyway, so Tenshu wasn't terrible. I said it's basically a 6 out of 10 show, but like there's potential for it to be good, but I don't know if it's gonna be good when it's all said and done. I'm only gonna give it another couple, like 1, maybe 2 episodes to try to redeem itself. And then I'm probably gonna drop it. And then, I mean, the rest of the stable. So there was, God, I don't remember the shortened versions of them. But then there was the appraiser guy, like, though I have a shitty skill, I'm an appraiser, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was, it was not good. It was not good. It is the most generic, like, fantasy, hey, this is a fantasy thing that is based on video game concepts. Like, it's just so bad. It's so bad. Like, it's to repeat what I said on the Discord, I have taken shits more interesting than that show. Um, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, they didn't work hard on it or whatever. Like, the animation is good, and the voice acting is passable, and it's just like, at the same time, it's like, how can you put in that much work into something that has no fucking soul, chat? Like, that's the thing that I don't understand is it boggles my mind how much effort gets put into some animes these days that are just the most generic, soulless slop that is just like, there's no real concept to it. I was like, okay, well, this dude, the synopsis of the show is, oh, well, I have this crappy level 1 skill, but now I'm like the most powerful ever. And I was like, okay, this could be interesting if they go the route of he's gonna think of new and interesting ways to use his skill to somehow be more powerful. And then it just evolves into, and then he gets magic superpowers, and then it powers up his abilities. So even though technically it's a shitty ability, he has all these other superpowers that make it better. And it's like, that's 99% of the genre. Like, I can, you would, if animes were tangible, you wouldn't be able to walk through a season without tripping over a dozen of those shows. And so, again, it's just one of those, like, I don't understand why so much effort gets put into stuff that requires so little effort. Like, I feel like they could save a lot of money and time if they just did a bunch of shitty CG and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's, anyway. And then I watched, the guild receptionist anime, which is basically like, I'm a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. Which, again, when you read the synopsis, it actually sounds interesting. Where it's like, okay, here's this person who, like, somehow, some way is super powerful, but they don't want to, like, save the world or be a hero or anything like that. They just want to have a nice, easy, simple life, and yet they keep getting dragged into all this stuff. And I was like, okay, this could be an interesting comedy premise. it could be an interesting way to turn the fantasy genre on its head. And then again, by the second episode, it was just right back into the same old BS fantasy tropes of power levels and giant evil and dark gods and the fate of the world and all the other bullshit. And I was just like, why? You had such a good thing going there for like 25 minutes in the first episode, and then you threw it all away. And I said before, that it's like, it feels like these shows now are trying to think of an interesting premise to get you to watch it, and then they unload with the generic fantasy bullshit. Like, they come up with an interesting premise, and maybe they even stick to that premise for a couple of episodes, but like, they very quickly just devolve into standard cookie cutter fantasy anime bullshit. And it's like, if you would just like stick with that premise, stick with the reluctant hero who's like super powerful that doesn't want anything to do with this bullshit. Like, that's a good idea for a show. You know, go with the guy who has the shitty level 1 power, but yet somehow manages to use his intellect and his ingenuity and his wit to somehow be powerful and do amazing things with that level 1 power. But again, if you made the show about that instead of, and then he gets superpowers, it's like, come on, guys. And then the last show that I watched this so far this season is the hottest of rom-com trash. It's the I'm married to a girl in my class that I hate or something like that, because you can't have anime titles that aren't entire sentences anymore. And again, it was fairly standard rom-com nonsense. I mean, it's not that I necessarily disliked the show. I don't think that it's bad. It's certainly not badly made. And again, the performances are good, the animation is good, like, it's not a bad show on technical merit. But again, it has no soul. Again, to kind of quote what I said on the Discord, it's like they introduced 6 or 7 characters in the very first episode, and I can tell you exactly what every single one of those characters is going to do, the function that they're going to play in the story, and how their particular character arc is probably going to play out. Like, for someone like me that has been down that rabbit hole for years, there's no reason to watch it. It's not bringing anything new to the table. For somebody that's relatively new to anime, that hasn't, been through a decade or more of rom-com after rom-com, it might be interesting. It might be a fun show. The show that it reminded me the most of was like Nisekoi, which I actually enjoyed back in the day, but it also kind of set a template that a lot of other shows and mangas have followed over the years. Like, don't get me wrong, Nisekoi wasn't even that original when it came out, but it was still, like, it put the comedy first. It was a funny show most of the time. And most of the tropes that it played on hadn't been completely played out at that point yet. So, yeah, those were the 4 shows that I have watched so far this season. And honestly, I might continue Tenshu. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it for another episode or 2. I might give the Guild Receptionist show 1 more episode to see if all the melodrama shit is gonna go away and they're gonna try to get back on target. But so far, it's not been a good season, chat. It's not been a good season. So, I'm not going to ask you guys for suggestions, because then I'd get 50 million suggestions in the chat, but I suddenly find myself in need of things to watch. Anyway, chat, that's my rant. That's my rant / discussion / one-sided conversation about anime. I just, like, it's been bad this season, and I hope it's not a sign of things to come, but the way that so many other mediums like streaming and movies and stuff are just kind of losing their inspiration, it makes me feel bad, and it makes me not afraid, but at least concerned for the future of anime. For most modern anime are adaptations of doujin or fan fiction tier light novels. Yeah, and that's the other problem, Urs. Like I get I get excited about new IPs these days because I'm like, oh, here's something that isn't being adapted and isn't gonna run out of gas after the first 8 episodes because they ran out of manga or they ran out of light novel. Like, original IPs are the most exciting to me these days, but even then, like, look at Metallic Rouge was an original IP and that kind of shit the bed. And so it's like, just because it's an original IP doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be good. And I see you, Omega Forge. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Thanks for dropping by on a Saturday. I don't know if you're planning on streaming today, but as always, we're glad to have you. So thanks for dropping by for a little bit of a, I don't know, I guess an anime rant / discussion. Because listen, chat, if you hadn't picked up on this, I'm going to give you a little peek behind the curtain. I don't think that we have enough XCOM 2 left to occupy an entire stream. So I figured that I would do a little bit of chatting here at the first part of the stream before we actually get into the game proper. Let's go at the original Bubblegum Crisis. I mean, you know, and I have watched a lot. I've watched a lot of like 80s and 90s era anime recently, like in the last year or so. And I, you know, obviously animation has come a long way. The voice acting has come a long way. But boy, you got a lot more original stories back then. You got a lot more shows that were willing to like take risks and do something interesting. Whereas today it's all just like how many building blocks can we snap together on this show before people just completely check out? Maybe a bit early, but his boss mentioned what will replace XCOM 2 when we exterminated all the A's. I mean, troubleshooter, you know this. I've already said it. I'm not going to tell you guys what comes next. You're just going to have to find out. It's going to be a surprise. It might not be a good surprise for some of you, but I promise I'll try to make it as interesting as I can. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I want it to be a surprise, Chad. What I know it's I know that you guys are like, you want to know and you want to like, oh, is it going to be this? Is it going to, and everybody wants to throw out their guess and all that. What? Nah, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to find out. You're just going to have to find out. So again, and Megas, who's already throwing out the random guesses of Fallout 4. I have said before, and I will repeat, the game that I intend to play is not a game that I have ever played before. I have played similar games, so I am familiar with the genre. I have even seen the game in question being played and have watched some people play it. So I'm not a complete stranger to the game, but I have never played it myself. So it's one of those games that I thought would be fun to sit down and play with you guys. Again, I'm not going to tell you what it is, because that's the fun part, is for you guys to figure out what it is. But even so, it is at least to give you a hint, to give you an idea, is it will be something new. It will be something new. And when I say new, it'll be new for me, so I can actually go in not knowing what to expect, at least for the most part. And hopefully that will improve the experience for you, at least. I mean, it may not improve the experience for me, time will tell, but hopefully it'll make it more interesting for you guys, since it'll be a game that I have never played before, and unlike things like BattleTech and XCOM 2, and Metal Gear Solid 5, it's not going to be a game that I know like the back of my hand. So, and I see you, Max, damn it, I'm putting you in the list right now. But yeah, it'll hopefully be a little more interesting for you guys to watch, since it'll be a game that I'm not super familiar with. I've done a lot of ranting already. We're already an hour into the stream, so what say we finally, for all of the people, for all of the people that actually came here to resist the Alamau menace, what say we get to the Avenger chat so that we can actually do that? Eh? What do you say, chat? What do you say? Oh, come on. There we go. There's XCOM 2. BLM says, let's just chat. Rants are fun. I mean, listen, I've said before, like, there may come a time when I just bullshit on stream. But I don't know that I don't think that I don't have enough to talk about to keep myself busy just bullshitting for 6 to 8 hours. Like, I don't. Like, I can definitely go on a rant every once in a while, but, like, if I don't have a topic, if I don't have something to talk about, like, you know, I talk about anime today because that's a thing that has recently happened with me, and so it was something that was on my mind. But I see Oxford hydration income. Oh yeah, that's good. Remember to drink your water, chat. Oh. Anyway, so here we are, back in the Avenger, back in the Resistance, and we're pretty close to the end of the game, chat. We're pretty close. We need to, in the Shadow Chamber, we're currently doing the Avatar Autopsy, and I think there might be one more major project after that. But then that's pretty much it as far as the storyline is concerned, and so at that point we'd be able to pretty much finish up the game. Now, with that being said, if we go back to the Geoscape, for those of you that were here on the last stream, we had a little bit of a whoopsie in Straya, where we were supposed to save a VIP, and let's just say we didn't save the VIP. So now we got to make contact. Last stream, we finally made contact with all the other regions. And now suddenly, because of that failure in this one mission, we lost contact with the entire Australia region. Let's see. It's gonna cost us 60 intel. 60 intel, chat, in order to get back into Straya. And we're currently sitting at 14. So it's gonna be a minute. The other problem is we had our relay in Australia, which we lost that as well, and I don't think we're gonna get it back when we make contact, so we're gonna have to rebuild the relay. So that's also kind of unfortunate. Gonna guess they're slightly, I mean, clearly. And Czechoslovakia Ball says, hi, good to see you, Czech. Glad to have you back. Thanks for joining us once again on a Saturday or Sunday for you. I know it's pretty close to the rollover time where you are. But good to see you. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday. Worried him into an unsafe position and then blamed him for it when he got shot. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I put him in half cover. Which you should never do with a VIP if you have it. Like, if you can put the VIP in full cover, they should always be in full cover. And I didn't do that, and the VIP got shot. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say, I mean, yes, technically it's his fault. But, like, I'm the one that told him to stand there, so it's... Anyway, we're not gonna dwell on my mistakes, chat. I just wanted to, you know, give you a rundown of how things have gone. But again, we are very, very close to the end of the game. To the point where I'm fairly certain that we could finish the game up this stream, should we choose to do so. Things that I would like to do before we finish up. I would like to finish building the radio relay in South Africa so that we can complete that. I would also like to take out the 2 remaining black sites that we have on the map. Of course, I want to try to make contact with Australia again, so that we can say that we had all the regions unlocked. And at that point, I mean, obviously we're gonna get we're gonna get like guerrilla ops and other things that are gonna pop up while we're waiting for those timers to tick down. So there'll definitely be stuff to do, but like those are the things that I kind of want to finish up before we like complete the game. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, I think the first thing to do while we wait, oh, I guess we should check on the barracks as well, just so I can remind myself of what we were doing here. So, yeah, okay, so almost everybody is good to go. Thanosi took some shots. Nokarian took some shots on the last mission. Thanosi's gonna be back in pretty quickly, but Nokarian's gonna be out for 2 weeks. I don't know if he will make it back before we finish the game. We will certainly try to get him back in, but we'll see, we'll see. So the barracks is in pretty good shape. We got physical conditioning and stuff going on as well. Oh, that's right, Brewster, you are right. We gotta work on the nuke as well. So the problem with the nuke, let me double check. Let's head to, I think it's research and development. No, it is not. So I guess it's the proving ground. Yeah, so we unlocked this, the Illyrium Tactical Nuke. The problem is we didn't have any cores to build one. So we're currently doing the research and development project to build a core. Hopefully we'll pick one up from an operation before that, but either way, we definitely gotta try to use the nuke because this is from a mod, I'm not even sure which one, but I definitely want to try it just to see what happens. I mean, like if you look at the picture, it even looks like the nuke from Starship Troopers, which I appreciate. So yeah, that's another thing on the list of things to do. It's from the Iridar launcher. Ah, gotcha. I mean, that's one of the 360 mods that are currently in the mod pack, so I'll take your word for it. Have you ever tried to play a game after changing a language setting to a language you don't understand? I mean, I used to play some Japanese games back in the day and like used guides and translation software to try to understand what was going on. But I think that's probably the closest that I've ever gotten to that. I get to use my drugs? Yeah, crappy. At some point, if we go on enough missions where I can actually send you out, then we'll make sure you get your drugs. We'll make sure you get your drugs. Alright. So here we go, Chad. Let's get over to South Africa and finish building that relay first. Used to play a Gundam online shooter game. It was set in the OG games. Back before every Gundam game was either a competitive shooter or a Dynasty Warriors clone. Let's see. So, Buffalo, Brewster got themselves a promotion, and we picked up 17 XCOM ability points on this covert operation. Let's go ahead and assign a new covert operation. What do we got left? Because we're kind of running out of stuff for our people to do. We could get another refined delirium so that we could build more than one nuke. I'm really tempted. I'm really tempted to do it. I kind of want to fabricate a superior PCS as well. The problem is, like, it gives us so many PCSs that are just, like, for psychics. And I don't want psychics, because we're not really using them. So I don't know. We could do intel. We do need intel so that we can make contact with Australia. So actually, that's probably not the worst idea. So let's get our people put in here. And you don't get a scientist because our hero units are not important enough. They're only going to be wounded. They can't be captured or ambushed. So yeah, let's get some intel so we can make contact with Straya.
We will begin the covert action immediately, Commander.
Mr. Shogo mad it was a cool mecha shooter game. I've never played that. I mean, I've seen Shogo, but I've never actually played it. What triggered the Shogo? I mean, we were just talking about... I mean, it could be anything, but we were talking about anime, we were talking about Gundam. So, I mean, those are things that are adjacent. Anyway, since I just saw Brewster talking in chat, let's go ahead and get this promotion out of the way. So we are promoting Brewster to Master Sergeant, so max rank. Alright Brewster, here we go. So we got under the Maverick tree, trade fire, where until the start of your next turn, fire at any enemy that takes a hostile action. Your shots do not have a reaction penalty. Holy shit. Not having the reaction penalty actually makes that really good. It's a 3-turn cooldown though, so it is an activated ability. Then we got Triage under the Corpsman tree. It says restores 8 health to the user and surrounding allies. Removes burning, acid, and poison. You can only use it once per mission. And then Rapid Reaction, which we've already seen, but just as a refresher, when in Overwatch, each shot you hit with grants another reaction fire shot up to a maximum of 3 shots. But it's up to you, Brewster. Whatever you think fits. I mean, again, you've been mostly focused on the Sentinel tree. But yeah, I agree. Trade fire is very complementary to the Sentinel tree. And once we do that, you got 24 points. So again, in the tradition, since you have hit max rank and you're pretty close, I will give you additional points from the XCOM tree if you want to buy one of these top level abilities. Otherwise, you can pretty much afford everything else, because every other ability is either 20 points or less. This is rapid reaction for the me. I mean, might as well. Double down. Alright, there we go. And that is yet another soldier maxed out. Hit max level. Now we'll head back to the Geoscape. Let's see. We got Avatar Autopsy is going to be the next thing on the list, it looks like. Really? Yeah, I guess so.
Reading you loud and clear.
Alright, there we go. And we got Inside Knowledge. The effect of all weapon modifications is increased. The Sentinel is one of the tertiary classes provided by Amalgamation, and it is almost entirely focused on Overwatch and reaction fire. Like, the whole skill tree is basically about either playing defensively or taking shots and reactions during the enemy turn, as opposed to being like a more active type of soldier. So, like, if you primarily build Sentinel, you're kind of building that character to be more of like a set it and forget it type of character. You just, like, all you need to do with them is put them in a good position and they'll do the rest. Is the best way that I can describe it. So let's see. We still don't have intel. We've already made contact with a bunch of other areas. I mean, I guess... Chat, do we go for a black site? I mean, I've already made you guys wait, and we haven't gotten into an op, so maybe we go for a black site. I think we do it, chat. I think we do it. Let's see. We got Operation Tortoise Tongue. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad mission name. It's not quite as heavy metal as the rest of the ones that we've had lately, but I'll take it. So this is just going to be normal black site, sabotage the facility. Basically, we're going to go in, plant the X4 charges, and get out. And then let's see, we got 9 enemies. Magic Purple Room says we have a heavy mech, an Advent Commando, a Rocketeer, Gatekeeper, 2 Mutons, a Sectopod, and a couple of snakes. And Cool Jemus says, hi, good to see you, Cool Jemus. First time chatter, but looks like you already caught a collateral gift sub from all of these insanely generous donkeys. So welcome to the cult of Fantastical Decisions, and welcome to the stream as well. Don't forget to send Crappy and Friend. I mean, now would be a good opportunity. Now would be a good opportunity. And Volfina as well, so sounds like food. I mean, I guess that's true, yeah. Tortoise in general can be food, but I don't... Maybe there's a place that eats it, but yeah, no, I'm right there with you. But again, Volfina, also first on chatter, also having apparently also caught a collateral gift sub. So thanks for being here, thanks for joining us, Volfina, and welcome to the cult as well. But let's do it, chat. Let's get this first app underway. Let's take out this black site. That's what my ex calls me. Grindler, I think you probably wouldn't have been able to waterboard that out of most people, so I mean, I don't know. But you do you, I guess. Alright, let's see here. Let's get all of our equipment back. Especially the blue screen rounds and the EMP bomb, because we're gonna need those. They got some robots on this mission, so we're definitely gonna need those. Let me see. Give me this, and this, and this. There we go. Alright, now let's put our team together, chat. Grindler says it's because I talk slow. Not gonna lie, that is not where I thought you were going with that. But I mean, yeah. Let's see, who are we taking? I mean, obviously we gotta talk, we gotta take Crappy, because I was talking about it. And let's make sure he's got his fucking drugs, because the man is fiending for his drugs. Make sure we slap on the war suits. What? I'm very confused. I think I'm just, you know what? We already know which one it is. We're gonna go with it. We got the gremlin. Let's see. Instead of that, I mean, rocket launcher is good. Let's see. Let me remind myself. It says, soldier, after taking the serum, receives bonus mobility, mental immunity, takes less damage, does not cost an action to activate, has a single use, will be removed from inventory when used. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it didn't do anything for melee combat, because if it did, we can always give him the heavy strike module. I mean, maybe we give him the heavy strike module anyway, though. Because he's got the drugs, right? Like Rocket Punch? Why not? Let's do it. Let's see. And then if we're putting in Crappy technically isn't bonded with anybody, so we can put in somebody else. But we don't actually have that many people left that aren't bonded. And nobody that really has a bond with him already. I mean, I guess technically the one that you're closest to being bonded with is Grendler? Which, honestly, that, like, listen, chat. Hear me out. That's not a terrible combination, right? Like the sniper and the shotgun? Right? Like, if we can get them bonded. Hadn't teamed up with Buffalo before. I mean, at this point, I just want him to have a wife. Like, I kind of wanted everybody to be bonded before we got to the end of the campaign, but we have some people that are, like, forever alone out here, and I feel bad. Let's see. We already got all the weapons and everything that we need, so let's see. If we're gonna use you as a sniper, then obviously we want to give you the blue screen rounds so that you can take out those robots from a long way off. I guess we throw in a med kit as well, because more med kits more better. And I don't... Like, grenades aren't super useful for snipers, so I don't want to give one of our special grenades to Grendler, because they're probably never going to get a chance to use it. I mean, she does have the grenade launcher. So maybe we could still do that anyway, but I'll tell you what, let's give him the gas grenade, because that's the least useful of the special grenades, but we could still potentially put it downtown. And don't forget, because Grendler has got the Icarus suit, we can actually have them fly around to places as well. Yeah, crappy sniper and actual sniper. Alright, let's see. Who's our second pair gonna be? I'm going to the bottom of the list because I kind of want to find, like, the people that haven't really been on as many missions. Then again, we got Vio. I'll tell you what. We'll send out Vio. And even though Brewster, Art... Oh, you know what? We can send... We can send Wasteland Wanderer on this one. Alright. Now we're cooking, chat. Now we are cooking. I'm gonna have to go find Yas now because they are currently holding the bullpup that I need. Gimb. There we go. Slap that puppy on there. And of course, Vio is gonna be our grenade man. So I'm gonna give him the frost bomb. I'm debating, Chad. Do we go dragon rounds or venom rounds? Because I want to take both, but I guess venom rounds are better because they're guaranteed, whereas the dragon rounds only have a chance to set things on fire. The venom rounds are guaranteed to poison, as long as the target's organic. And Kobold Trap Springer says, how goes the A's? Resisting the A's today. So far, so good, Kobold, although we're only just now getting into our first mission. I had a little bit of an extended rant session at the beginning of the stream, so we're actually only just now getting into the game. But good to see you. Glad to have you. First time chat. And EW as well, rolling in the chat with 5 gifted subs. Thank you, EW, for the massive generosity and the massive chicken. You do not have to do that, but I appreciate it. And of course, if you got gifted a sub, be sure to thank EW for that generosity. And of course, as always, welcome to the cult of bad tactical decisions. EW, I was just saying, you haven't missed much, because we're setting up for our first op. We're going to be going after an Advent Black Site. Let's see. I'll give him the EMP grenade as well, so we can freeze people and we can wreck any particular robots that happen to be a problem. Let's go ahead and get our mans all squared away here. Of course, we want to mo medkits mo better. And because you have a heavy weapon, maybe the dragon rounds is a good fit for you. We could dragon rounds, we could skulljack. But we don't really need to skulljack anybody. So I'm gonna go dragon rounds. Let's make our heavy machine gun set people on fire. Kind of lurked a couple of times before. Well, I mean, there's plenty of folks here, Kobold, that just lurk in the chat, and that's fine too. Again, I know there's people that are out there painting minis, drawing stuff, reading books, doing all kinds of other stuff while they listen to our shenanigans, so you don't have to feel bad about that, but of course, as always, you're welcome to hang out with us if you like. And I try to, I mean, again, for me, this is all about, I just want you to be here, have a good time, and be able to just relax and have some chill vibes for a little bit, so you don't necessarily have to be active in chat for that. But I appreciate it all the same. Alright, there we go. So that's another pair of folks with no partner. So who do we want to send in? Are we gonna... Chat, it's a black site. I feel like we have to send in a Meg. And I don't remember... Chad, I don't remember who is the one. It's either Erst or EW, but who is the one who was like the farthest behind? This is the problem with having 3 mech troopers, is like before it was always easy to remember who had went on the mission last. But now I kind of forget in between streams, chat. EW says I volunteer. Alright, well that's good enough for me. So let's put in EW. And if we're putting in EW, we gotta make sure, okay, he's got his upgraded weapon, he's got the ordnance launcher. Let's see, what else can we put in? I mean, we can either give you a grenade or we can give you the auto pulsar. I mean, we could give you a flamethrower or a rocket launcher. It's not the worst thing in the world. I do kind of like the acid bomb, though. So let's give you an acid bomb. And of course, if EW's going along, then that means Vin is also going along. So let's get him plopped in there. Get him all kitted up. And of course, if we're taking Vin is a medic, so mo med kits mo better. You don't have any goofy, like, healing mist or anything like that, if I remember right. No? Okay. I'll tell you what, though. I tell you what, chat. We're gonna go ham here. And I'm gonna take a smoke grenade. Because again, at this point, the regular plasma grenades have kind of fallen off. Oh, you know what? You're right. I remember now. You're right. Because Erst was not able to go anywhere, so you know what? Sorry, guys. In the interest of fairness, I gotta kick you out. We gotta put in Erst and Jotun. It's nothing personnel, kid. I mean, I guess we gotta take the gun from EW as well, so we can give one to Erst. Or, I'm sorry, Rogue. My bad, Erst. They're both Australian. They all look the same. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Alright, let's see. There's Rogue. Oh, and he's still got his loadout from the previous mission, so that actually works out well for us. Let's see. Make sure we get an upgraded weapon for Erst. Let's see. I mean, we got a lot of rockets. We don't have a lot else. But that's okay. That's alright. It's the sunburn. A lot of us have that. Yeah, I mean, that and the spider bite scars. Alright, so I think, let me make sure. Okay, we do have a more upgraded version. So we got our shredder guns, we got med kits because Ro is a medic. I mean, Chad, I think this is as good as it's gonna get. So, let's make it hot. That's a nice looking cannon. I agree. So, one of the things that I did in between streams, and some of you guys have already noticed, is I went through and I used some of the, so I have a cosmetic mod for weapons, right? Where I can basically reskin any weapon to look like any other weapon. And I typically don't use that mod, but I figured because we're towards the end of the campaign, I might as well reskin some of our weapons to make them look fancy. So I reskinned the big guns for the mechs to make them look, I don't know, cooler, bigger, fancier, all of the above.